What if every time you said, I'll try, you were actually announcing to yourself and everyone else that you just weren't going to do it? Carla, why do you think that we've all been trained to accept trying as effort when it's actually kind of the opposite?
Oh my gosh. Well, we are taught to try from a very young age. Our parents, they say, try harder, try your best, give it a try, just try it. Because they believe that they were motivating us. They believe they were encouraging us to act. And it's so interesting that this is what we believe because we've been taught to believe it. But when you really take a deep dive and shine the spotlight on and magnify the word try and what it really means, it's anything but encouraging and brave.
I'm Melissa Monti. This is Mind Love.
Up to the age of 2, children do not say try. It's I do it. But around the age of 2, they realize that there's a difference between their actions and the outcome. And then they start hesitating and they start associating with the failure. Well, I'm going to build these blocks and they're going to reach the sky. But after 5 blocks, they tumble down. That there's sometimes shame in failure. There's embarrassment. There's judgment. And it's after the age of 2 that they literally start incorporating the word try to protect themselves from all of that.
So what are the long-term repercussions of this?
Oh my gosh. When you try, and trust me, this generation is trying at breakneck speed. We're really jumping ahead here. There's like so much foundational stuff we can talk about, but the repercussions of trying, well, number one, you're not going to get to where you want to go because you're half-hearting the process. You're only dipping your toe in the water. You're not doing. There's no action for trying, by the way. We can talk about that. But you're not getting what you want. And secondly, regret steps in. When I'm trying to write the book. I'm trying to refurbish my dad's car. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to, develop more friendships. And then you end up, 60, 70 years old with not having any friends. And you regret all that time just thinking about and worrying about and wondering about and half-hearting those efforts. So regret is really big.
So walk me through the try test, the one where you try to touch your nose without actually touching it. Okay. What is happening in our brain when we get stuck in that space?
Yeah. I'm going to lead with, if you are a Star Wars fan, little Yoda, what's his saying? Do you know it?
I am not a Star Wars fan. I don't think I've seen them all.
You might not even have to be. But if you ever
But I'll give it a try. Just kidding.
No, you dare. Have you ever heard do or do not, there is no try?
Yes, I have heard that.
Little Yoda, okay? It's on posters all over kids' bedrooms, all over, when the movie came out and even now. Big fans. No one's ever stopped to say, why no try? Why did Yoda say to Luke Skywalker, do or do not, there is no try? And why does Nike not say just try to do it, right? It's just do it. 30 years later, it's still as strong and powerful and motivating. Just do it. Imagine if it was just try to do it. It wouldn't be the same. It would be just all the air just gets sucked out of you, right? So there's no action for trying, literally. So let's do the test. Hold your finger up, and I'll give you 3 directions. The first direction is touch your nose. Okay, beautiful. You did it. That's doing. You touched your nose. Now, second direction, do not touch your nose. We're not touching our nose. Okay, now the third direction, you can't touch it, and you can't not touch it. The third direction is, I want to see you try really hard to touch your nose. Let me see what that looks like.
For those who can't see, I am using my own resistance to keep my hand away from my nose.
And isn't that amazing? You're literally holding yourself back. That's what trying is. So So was that like confusing to you?
No, I immediately understood the concept you were trying to portray because I even think about the last few times that I've said, well, I'll just try it. I know I'm going in half-assed. I know I'm going in with no expectations of myself and setting the stage so no one has expectations of me either. And so I'm just not going to put my all in. But I also see how it does feel safer if I was trying something difficult like slacklining or something like that, where I know I'm probably going to fall off the first time. I might use the word try just to save a little grace.
Okay. So, well, when you're doing this weird thing with your finger, you're physically trying, but there's no action for trying. It's just like weird. It's this, your brain reacts the same way, by the way. It doesn't know what to do when you tell it to try. Our words influence our behavior. Okay. We tell our brain what to do and it affects and influences what we actually do. So when you tell your brain to try something, it's like, wait, what? Am I doing this or am I not doing this? Right? What's happening here? I'm confused. Brain says, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. I'm not talking about semantics. So if I say I'm going to try to pick up this pen, that's semantics. It's a very small action with very little significance. Okay. I'm going to try to pick it up. We throw that around all the time. This conversation and the point of my book and the thing that will change lives is the big ticket items. Trying in your health, your happiness, your relationships, your careers. Anytime you say try, you are fooling yourself. And many of us, they don't have the depth and insight that you even have when you say you're going to try. You kind of already have this knowledge. Many people don't. They believe they're doing. Well, I'm trying so hard, but nothing's happening. That's the saddest thing to hear. And I'm sure they're trying very hard, but they're not doing. And I have a great story that I can share with you, which would be kind of a good place to tell it right now. Because for me, it really sets up the whole everything about what trying means. Okay. So I'll make it really short. I would take my kids, who are now 24 and 25, to the park to get on the bus every morning. This is years ago, like 10 years ago. And there was a guy at the park every 7 o'clock in the morning. He'd be walking around with these giant headphones and just walking around listening to something. I was in music publishing for 25 years. I was always so curious, like, what is this guy listening to? But I never wanted to interrupt him. Well, one day the headphones were off and he was like fiddling with them. So the kids get on the bus and I walk up to him like, hi, I see you here all the time. What are you listening to? And he goes, there's so many things that I'm trying to do and I don't have the dedication, the motivation. So I'm listening to podcasts and books on tape and a lot of like self-help motivational things. When I hear the word try, my brain just goes, it goes crazy. And so I just looked at this guy, didn't know him. And I said, tell me one thing that you're trying to do. And he goes, well, I'm trying to go back to swimming. Like I need to get, healthy. I want to incorporate some exercise. So we have the new YMCA. I'm trying to go swim again. I loved it when I was younger. And all I said to him was, why don't you stop trying to go swim and go swim? That was it. And thank you. Nice to meet you. Put the headphones back on. And I really thought I'm never going to see this guy again, ever. He's just this freak at the park who stopped him and then said, stop trying to go swim and go swim. Literally 24 hours later, same park, kids get on the bus. This guy is across the park waiting, screaming at me. I did it. I did it. I swam. I didn't try. I swam. And to me, that embodies his process of trying was thinking about, worrying about, wondering about, putting it on a list, reading about it, waiting for motivation. That's trying. And all he had to do was go do a strong, determined action. Do it. And he's still swimming. I have him in the book. His name is Armin Armrani, and he changed jobs. I mean, the guy has stopped trying. It's like once you hit it in one area, you see how it affects everything else. So that guy really embodied for me. That's what trying looks like. Exactly.
So if somebody is trying to lose weight or trying to fix their relationship or trying to improve their life, it's like their brain is in that same stuck finger in the air trying to touch your nose state.
Yeah. It's like, so when you say, and those are all very noble things that we want to do, try to, repair a relationship, try to get closer to your kids, try to get closer to your partner, try to lose weight and be healthier. And so, yes, you're basically going from park to neutral. Okay. Your brain, believe it or not, there's neuroscience here. When you say, I'm going to try to do something, the brain actually lights up. It's got a little bit of a light up because it now thinks that something may happen. Okay. So it kind of lights up like this. It goes from park to neutral, but you're still not moving anywhere. When you say, I'm losing weight, I'm calling my sister that I haven't talked to in 6 months. Okay. I'm making the dermatology appointment today that I've been putting off for a year. Your brain goes from park to drive or from neutral to drive, and it lights up. It literally, the serotonin, the dopamine, the adrenaline, all those endorphins, they are firing because now they're prepared to move. They know you're going to move. So our brain literally reacts and responds differently. When we say, I'll try, and it's kind of like, think about it, if you're giving somebody some advice, you'll say, well, have you tried this? We even say it very softly and very kindly. And have you tried calling so-and-so? Have you tried maybe whatever? But when you say, I'm doing that, you sit up straighter, your voice gets louder. I'm doing it. It's powerful. It's palpable. It's literally brain changing.
You know what I like about that car analogy is when you are in neutral trying, you're actually also susceptible to movement from other people rather than your own direction. So somebody can push you back. And then when you continued talking and you even said, I'm trying to fix my relationship, it opens up a bunch of people to say, well, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And that's just the last thing I want. I'm like, what I'm going to try to not do is take any of your advice. Just let me figure it out on my own.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's all there. Yeah. When we try, that's it. We're sharing. We're telling everybody. It's one of the other reasons this is so sad to me that people, to them, the trying is enough. Because they're at the party and they're saying, well, I'm trying to start a podcast. I'm trying to get a new job. I'm trying to move out of my apartment and I'm trying to buy a house. And in that moment, they're actually getting dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline, all those feel good, neurotransmitters are just firing in their brain. And that makes them feel good. But then they go home. Or then they go back to that same party, a year later and everyone's like, well, how's the book going? Have you moved yet? And nothing's changed, right? So it's just makes you lose your confidence and self-esteem, and negative self-talk sets in like, I'm a loser, I'm weak, I'm lazy. This is all the collateral damage of your trying mindset. So not only is it you don't get what you want, you will have regrets. It's why I wrote my book. Okay. I have had a career, a 25-year career in music publishing. I have a 28-year marriage to I call him my boyfriend because that's still how I think of him. He's my husband. We have a great relationship. I have 2 grown kids. I have worked my butt off and I have a really great life. Oh my God, did I really want to write this book now at 62 years old and throw myself back into the work world? And the reason I did it is because I know I would be on my deathbed regretting that I did not share this. Regret was so huge for me, and I would have regretted it. I would literally have been laying there thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I wrote that book. So I went ahead and did it.
I love this concept of being the leader of your own life. Somebody said it like my first year of podcasting, and it's something I still think about. And when you're really thinking about that framing and then the word try, it's so clear because we are not just listening to our intentions, we're actually listening to the words that we use to describe our life, to describe our intentions, to describe what we're going to do. And it is funny, the things we use the word try with. When you really think about it, like what does it mean you're going to try to go swimming? Do you not know how to swim? Do you not know where the pool is? Like how are you if you're trying to go swimming, you're just not doing it. I can understand, like, what about in the situations where there isn't a clear path to follow? Like, there's the difference to me between trying to write a book. I can kind of see how that one's muddy. There's people that don't know how to write a book, so they're trying. Maybe they're starting to get research, but ultimately you should still switch to the do. But then what about the things that have elements that are out of your hand? Like, I'm trying to get a publisher, or I'm trying to conceive a baby right now. How do you wrap that into the framework?
Okay. Oh my God. I love the trying to conceive. There's actually the trying too hard phenomenon. It's been studied in fertility clinics all over the world, that when you are in a trying mindset, that is like, you are stressing yourself. All this trying is mental, and you're obsessing about it. You're trying, you actually disrupt your hormones and your natural flow of things. So it's the couples that don't have medical conditions that they go to Vegas, they have a few drinks, they have a lot of fun, and oops, I got pregnant, And it's the couples, there are studies on this too, that they tried so hard because they checked out the timing and, oh, honey, come home from work, I'm ovulating and we've got to do it. All that like rigidity and the trying really hard mindset definitely got in their way. So maybe they didn't get pregnant and they adopt a kid. And what happens to many couples? They get pregnant the month after they adopt their baby because they've stopped trying. Okay. Trying to write the book, that's just BS to me. If you're trying to write the book, you're not writing every day. Writing the book is writing the book. What does trying mean? I'm trying to find the time to do it. I stayed up till 4 and 5 in the morning. You know what I mean? I wrote every single day. And if you're trying to finish your book, you're not finishing your book. It's so black and white. And sometimes that's all people need is that awareness, that wow, okay. I think I went off track on your original question because I want to answer it. You'll have to remind me, but I think I'll just give you an example of like the person that's trying to lose weight. What does that look like versus here's a clear distinction. This is trying to lose weight and this is actually losing weight. So the person that's trying to lose weight, maybe Monday through Friday, they have their meal plan. They're bringing their food to work. They're going to the holiday party. And, they're working out during the week. They're bringing their food to work. But on Saturday, when they go to the holiday party and they don't have, anything that they can eat that's on their diet, well, I'm trying to lose weight. They didn't have the food I needed, so I had to eat, the potato chips and dip or the whatever, the potato pancakes, right? And then they wake up the next morning. I've worked out all week. I'm really trying hard to lose weight here. But I'm just going to skip my workout because it's pouring rain out and I don't feel like getting out of bed. That's the trying person, okay? And they're making excuses. Well, the party didn't have the food I needed to eat. And they're blaming the weather. Well, it's raining and I'm tired and I don't feel like getting out. The person that's actually losing the weight, and you've seen them, you know them, you run into them after, 6 months ago, oh my gosh, what happened to you, right? They are sticking to their meal plan Monday through Monday. And when the desserts come around on Saturday night and they want to give themselves a treat, they say, I'm sorry, I'm not even having a taste because I'm losing weight. I am not eating that food right now. And I'm sticking to it until I reach my goal. They're strong, they're determined, they're not trying. And when they wake up totally sore on Sunday morning of all mornings and it's pouring rain out, they get up, they go to the gym because they're doing it. They are doing it. They're not half-hearted trying it. So, and it affects everything. It does affect our health. You know, like I mentioned earlier, if you're trying to make the dermatology appointment that we all should do every year because skin cancer rates are off the roof right now, you can say, you know, well, I'm trying to find a dermatologist. My doctor's out of network. I'm trying to find one that is. I'm trying to figure out the best time. I'm trying to talk to my friends and see who they go to. They're not making the appointment. Okay. And you might miss a huge diagnosis that could end your life. You know, a big cancer diagnosis that you never would have received had you still been trying to make the appointment. See what I'm saying?
And so what about goals with that external influence? Example, the publisher side. I wrote the book. I'm not trying to write the book. I wrote the book. Is it just about reframing the language instead of saying, I'm trying to get a publisher, I'm doing everything in my power to create the circumstances to attract a publisher?
Yeah. Okay. The person that's okay. And yes, there are. So I'll say right now, not trying doesn't guarantee success, but it guarantees you doing, guarantees you a better chance at success. So remember, our mindset, what we tell ourselves will affect our actions. The person that's trying to get a publisher, which is a very hard thing. I'm an agent. Just let's say I'm trying to find an agent, whatever you want. Pick one, agent or publisher.
I have an agent, so
okay.
I'm wanting him to try to get the publisher.
Trying to find a publisher. So, you know, that person, you know, they're hitting all the publishing companies that specialize in their topic, you know? They're sending them an email. They're sending them the draft. They're sending them, you know, the whatever. Their agent is doing whatever they can. And it stops. The person that says, we are about to find the perfect publisher for my book. You're now going to hit foreign. You're going to go outside of where you would stop. Okay. I'm going to call every friend of mine that's an author, every friend of mine that's a podcaster that has authors on their show, and ask them, do you feel comfortable maybe suggesting an introduction to one of their publishers, right? You can always go deeper. You're going to think outside the box. You're not going to stop short. Your brain, it says, look, that's the goal. And how do I get there? What else can I do? You're not, you know, taking the standard route and you reach a dead end. That's kind of trying, you know. Well, I've called them 4 times and they haven't called me back. I'm the person that shows up at the door. You know, I will write the letter. I will send the email. I will send a text. I will leave a voicemail. God help you if you don't respond to me, okay? Because I am not going to try to get in touch with you. I will make contact with you. And guess what? If you don't return any of that, then I know I did everything I could possibly do. And I get to walk away with my confidence and my knowledge of what worked, what didn't work, why it didn't work. And I feel really good about the fact that I did everything I can. And that's super, super important. When we tell our kids to try your best on the test, what they hear is it's optional. You know, it's an option. I don't have to do it. I try to do it. And maybe I'll study for half hour more, but then I'm going to go play video games. Do your best. And they still get the C. They're going to go, you know what? I freaking studied my butt off. I went to the teacher for extra study time. I read an extra book about it. I worked with my friend. I did everything and I still got the C, but boy, I feel really good about myself.
Yeah, I can see how that could work with my children. I've seen them try their vegetables and they barely tap their tongue to it. So that makes perfect sense.
You can say, like, imagine saying to kids, here, eat this asparagus, taste the asparagus. How about enjoy this asparagus? Now you're giving them a positive thing. You know, when you say try, you are literally building in. Think about this. Whenever you say try, you are building in the intention and the potential for failure. When you say try, it's right there. The second you say it, try this food, try to lose weight, the intention, the potential for failure. Try to, get a hotel reservation. You're already saying it might not happen. You're putting it first. And that drives me crazy.
I am a student of transcendental meditation, and I actually just yesterday finished up my second advanced technique training.
Wow.
And every time I'm in the presence, they make us watch a lot of Maharishi videos, the founder of TM. And every time he has to emphasize over and over again, you're not trying. You're not trying to stick with the mantra. There is no try. It's effortless. Let it flow away. There is no try. And it's funny because it seems so simple. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, what are you talking about? But I didn't even need to fully grasp the concept to have the experience of relaxing out of the try just on that directive.
Wow. I love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah, that's a perfect space for it. Just allow things to happen. Allow failure to happen. The reasons that we try are we're so afraid of failure. Sometimes we're afraid of success. We're afraid of what people will think of us. We are perfectionists. The people that try the most, not the most, but a lot, are the perfectionists. I'm trying, but I'm waiting for the perfect time. Or I'm going to try to, it's the painter that has 50 paintings in their garage, but they're trying to finish them and make them perfect until they let the world see them, until they do something about it. If I was a perfectionist, oh my gosh, I could have continued trying to finish my book, but it had to be done at some point. There's so much more I'd want to add to it now, but I guess that's why there's version 1, 2, and 3 that you can add to your book if you want. But, the trying thing it makes life more difficult. It really does. It adds a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of fear. So the best thing to do is just to, like your transcendental meditation, is just allow it. Just allow whatever happens to happen. Don't force anything. Dive into the deep end. And if you fail, beautiful. Now you've learned a great lesson and you just jump back in and don't do that the second time, right? We have to be comfortable with failure to be able to do things.
That idea of allowing is really profound when you bring it to things that we believe we need to try hard in, because there have been a million times in my life, thousands, where there's something that just seems difficult on my to-do list. And so I keep pushing it down. In my mind, I keep telling myself, well, I'm trying to do this. I've written it down 27 days in a row, But then when I finally am like, let me just do this, eat the damn frog, and I sit down and do it, I'm like, why is this? This was so easy. Like, of course I could have just allowed it to happen. What was the resistance at all? What, me getting to that page on the website or like opening up that note to get started? It is so often a process of allowing. And even when failure occurs, I was just thinking about this the other day. Do you know how often failure is easier than winning? If you win, you have everything to do afterwards. You got to keep it all up. If you fail, you're like, okay, let me just move on to the next technique.
Yeah, I did it. Yeah, that's called fear of success. Like, oh my God, what if this goes? Now I'm really going to have to work. So I love everything you just said about the list and pushing it down the list. And then it's hysterical that when you really finally do the thing, it's never as hard as you had it in your brain. It never takes as much time as you think it does. Have you ever heard of the Zygarnik effect?
No, but I did now. Keep going.
This is so cool. And I don't have it in my book, and I wish I had it in my book, but now I get to share it when I'm talking. So The Zygarnik effect is when you make a list, like you have your 10 things, or you said 27, that would just make me absolutely crazy if I had 27 things on a list. But on your list, what happens is your brain creates open loops. Imagine now you've created an open loop. Everything on your list is an open loop. And all the brain wants to do, now that you've inputted in there, my list of what I'm trying to get done, it wants to close the loop. It just naturally wants to close that loop. It wants you to complete the task. So imagine you are not home. You're away for 2 weeks in Hawaii on a beautiful vacation, but in your house, your heat's going, every television is on, every light is on, inside and outside. You've got the oven on, like every appliance is going, and all that energy is going to your house and no one's there. All that energy of everything on your list, your brain is giving it energy, whether you know it or not. Subconsciously, the brain is thinking about that loop, that thing on your list that it wants to get done. And it's literally, physically putting energy toward that open loop. That's exhausting. That causes fatigue. That causes mental anxiety so that you don't even want to begin doing anything, because mental anxiety becomes physical tiredness, right? But the minute you complete one, there's calm. Now there's more room to do the next one. Your brain wants to close those loops. We know that feeling. The entertainment business knows this better than anyone. It's why they have cliffhangers. It's why you have to wait till next Thursday night to see the next episode or the final cliffhanging closer. Radio does it all day long. Tune in 5 minutes or be the first, because you're thinking about it. It keeps you involved in the process. It keeps you waiting and wanting. And that is exactly what we do to ourselves when we make the to-do list. So if you can have a to-do list, make it 2 or 3 things that you're not going to try to complete, that you are guaranteed to finish that day. And then that's it.
This reminds me of a concept you have in your book around being trired, exhausted from trying without actually doing. Yeah. And it highlights how this could show up differently than maybe regular burnout, because regular burnout, you might just actually be physically exhausted from doing all the things. Whereas trired burnout, you're just physically exhausted from not doing all the things.
Just thinking about it and talking about it. Totally. That's so funny. Yeah, trired. I think my husband actually came up with that fun word as I was writing the book. And it's a real thing, though. I mean, oh my God, I'm so tired. I can't even. So I think in the book I talk about, I want to make, for someone that doesn't cook, the thought of like preparing dinner, I can cook Thanksgiving dinner like right now, like in an hour, I can have a full 10-course meal. I'm a cook. Okay. But for the person that isn't, this is what they do. They're like, oh my gosh, I have to find the recipes. I have to go to the store, buy the ingredients. I have to make sure that I have the pan. Then I have to cook it. And then I'm going to have to clean up the mess. And then, by the time you actually start doing it, you've already talked yourself out of it. You've already, that's tried. But when you say, I am going to cook lasagna tonight, I've never done it. I'm so excited. I'm doing it. You're going into the store, like standing up tall. You're excited. You're looking for the pan. You're going to find 4 or 5 recipes and pick the best one. You're doing it. You have the end game. You don't have the possibility of failure or it not even happening in there. You're doing it.
I love actually understanding what's going on in the brain. And I feel like I've used different analogies for the same concept that have made sense to me. Like people talk about closing all the tabs to kind of improve their processing speed. Or one that I always think about when I have too many to-dos on my list, it feels, if I don't write them down, I feel like I'm holding like 100 balloons and I'm just so worried like one's going to slip out. So I'm gripping it all so tightly. And then I realized, wait, you could just tie these down. You could write this down right now. But you introduced this idea of, or you shared how glutamate is the natural chemical messenger in your brain, kind of like the brain's main go signal. And that actually builds up in the prefrontal cortex when we're trying to do too much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a new study. So yes, it is physical. There are physical things that are going on that cause us to be tired and exhausted, and it's different. Like when you're playing chess, when you're using your brain, that's very physical. That's a different kind of tired than when you're just thinking about something and overwhelming yourself. It's pretty fascinating that this one teeny tiny little word has so much power over us, and no one has ever looked at it. Like there's a few sayings, but some people know this.
All this time, the only one who knew was Yoda.
Not Yoda. This is also so interesting. It's kind of funny. So we do know this, by the way. We know this big time, but it's very selective. So would you put your money in a bank that says, look, Melissa, we're going to try to keep track of your money, and we're going to try to have it available to you whenever you want to withdraw some of it. We're going to try our best.
No.
You wouldn't put your money in that bank, right?
No, I would not.
And when you're kids, how old are your children?
2 and 4.
Yeah, they're little. Well, one day, and you have another one on the way, so congratulations there.
Thank you.
You're all in.
I'm trying. Just kidding. I'm
you're
doing the damn thing.
That's what you're doing, girl. You're doing a lot. But when they go out to drive, when they're like 16, 15 years old now, maybe 14 by the time your kids get of age, and they're driving out for their first solo drive in your car, right? Because they don't have a car yet because they're still learning. You're not going to go, hey, try to drive careful. Try to stop at those stop signs. Try not to be distracted, and try to stop and try to drive the speed limit. It's you stop at those stop signs, you stay within the speed limit, and do not drive distracted. There's no try in there, okay? We don't pick the bank that's going to try to keep our money safe. We don't go to the surgeon that's going to try to amputate the correct arm. God forbid we need an arm, right? You're not going to be, I'm going to try to, whatever it is. I'm going to do this. This is what we expect. So we do know that trying isn't the best option. And there's many times we're not allowed to try. The airline, it doesn't say, will you try to be here at 9:30 because we want to try to take off by 10 o'clock.
Although they do say we will try to reserve your seat, and sometimes they give it away.
Yeah, well, that's what they tried. They didn't say, I want you to reserve my seat. So we do know. We do know. We're not afforded. You can't try to pay your mortgage or try to pay your rent. You can't try to drink water or you'll die because water keeps us alive, right? There are things we have to do that we know we can't try to do. Yeah. And, just because you don't try to get to the airport to make your flight and to be at the gate, it doesn't guarantee that flight's going to take off on time. But you're guaranteeing yourself a better chance of everything falling in line if you're there, if you're the one waiting for the plane to take off, right? So we know it. Our medicine bottles don't say, try to relieve your headache. We relieve it actually better, faster than anybody else. It's the do.
They should probably say try because it doesn't always work.
Well,
no, I love those kinds of reframes. It reminds me of when you were saying, you do know, these are the things that I stick to. And one of them that occurred years ago is realizing how often people, especially women, they'll get on a soapbox almost, and then they'll end their little monologue with, but I don't know. And so I'm always like, you do know. So now I'm going to be the one, you're not trying, you're doing it. My kids are going to be like, why are you the try Nazi? Well, I don't know if we're supposed to say
the try Nazi. I know.
Although I don't know if that's politically correct anymore. I grew up in the days of the soup Nazi when we were all allowed to laugh, and now times have changed. So I apologize. Erasing Nazi, something else extreme.
You're the no try girl. So I think this would be a really good time also to say that, not only can you affect your behavior and the outcome of your behavior, but you can actually affect the outcome of someone else's behavior. So if you need somebody to show up, what if my publicity team said she'll try to be on the call at 1:00. She'll try to be available that day. You couldn't.
This is a big pet peeve. This just happened like a week ago. Yeah, I'll try to make it. The moment somebody says I'll try to make it, I actually have become a little bit not necessarily triggered because I don't want to give them my power like that. It's almost like I can feel a respect shift. I don't even know which end it's on because I'm like, just say you are or you aren't. Like, I don't have any problem with you saying you can't make it. Even say, I'll check my schedule and get back to you tomorrow, something like that. But the moment you say I try, I know I'm not going to hear from you. I know I have to be partially in, like, sort of prepared for your maybe coming. And it's just so rude.
So you don't have to. This is what I'm going to say is, I'm on many boards. I'm the president of our HOA. I'm on the board of our local zoo. I was the mom at school that was volunteering for frickin' everything. And if I need someone to be there for me and they say, I'll try to make it by 9 with the coffee and the donuts, if that's your assigned thing, I will look at them and say, will you be here at 9:00 or won't you be? Like, nicely. You don't have to say it meanly, but I really need to know, will you be here at 9 or not? Now, here's the magic. The second they say, I'll be there at 9, I will be here at 9:00 with the coffee and the donuts. They have now rewired their brain. They've now gone from, I'm going to try to I'm doing it. And what this means is they're going to fill their car up with gas the night before. They're not going to go, well, I said I tried to be there at 9. I can stop off and get some gas right now. Or I'm going to go grab myself a Starbucks. Or they're going to get up early. They're not going to shoot off the last email before they walk out the door because it's 8:45 and I said I'd be there at 9. I got to go, right? Every action changes. And you can ask that of people. I do it to my doctors all the time. Like, if I have a blood test or something, that I'm waiting for a result, if I have like high blood pressure or I'm waiting for like a thyroid thing, and they'll say, look, we're going to try to call you by the end of the day. I will say to them, guys, I need to know if you're going to call me by the end of the day. If you're going to get those results, will you call me or not? Because I'm going to be freaking out waiting for the results. And then they'll sometimes say, look, no, we can't guarantee that. And now guess what? I don't think about it. Now I'm not expecting the phone call, but I can't handle the try. And people will respect you so much more. You said the respect word, because the minute they say try, you said you're not sure where. You lose all respect and accountability. You become, someone that they can't count on. People stop asking you to do things. If you keep saying, I'll try to show up, it's so much better just to say, look, I so appreciate the invitation, but I already know if that's a Friday night, I'm having a busy week, I'm probably not going to come. So please don't wait for me. Don't save a seat for me. Have a great night. And what happens is that person gets to just have a wonderful night and move on and not wait and not wonder. And the person that said, I'm not coming, they get to go home without thinking, I said I would try to go. I should go. I could go. Oh, they're going to be so upset with me because I said I'd try to go, but I'm not going. And then they're freaking themselves out and having a horrible, stressful night. All you have to do, instead of say, I'll try, is no, thank you. It's brilliant.
Yeah. And I think so often we assume our boundaries are going to be a burden when actually they are a blessing because people are so inept at creating the structure they need for their lives that if you have a good amount of structure in theirs and theirs just kind of blending into yours for a random Tuesday evening, guess what? They don't have to think about it. They've already made a commitment. They're not mulling things around. And so that's why I do love those little shifts. Sometimes the tiniest shifts in language and energy and intention can create the biggest breakthroughs. And one of the things that you talk about is how we are conditioned to believe that trying is courageous. You're trying something new. Oh, this kid will try anything. But there's a difference between that trying cautiously and doing bravely.
The kid that's going to try to I don't know, make the team, you know, they're going to blame the weather. Well, mom, it was really hot that day, or I didn't have enough water, or the sun was in my eyes. You know, Michael Jordan didn't use excuses like that. You know what I mean? That's not a trying mindset. And so yeah, it's the tiniest little shift that makes the biggest difference.
You talk about how trying your best gets passed down. Like there's this deeper conditioning about how the pattern replicates across generations. Tell us more about that.
It's a generational heirloom. Our parents were taught to try by their parents, right? Because it's gentler, it's kinder, it's softer, it's approachable. You know, we want to be kind, we want to be nice. And it's why when someone needs our help, we offer, have you tried this? Have you tried that? But what they need is call this person, read this book, stop doing that, start doing this. They don't need to have you tried. So it's not our fault and it's not their fault. They meant well. It's literally the fact that nobody has ever really taken the deep dive to think about what that word literally does to our brains and how we react and respond, you know, to trying. No one's ever really, you know what? There is another reason. So we want to hold on to try for dear life. It's a very alluring and sexy word because when you say you're going to try, you've got a grab bag of excuses. I tried, I couldn't do it because this happened. Or the blame. I tried, but they weren't available to help me, so I couldn't do it. And finally, there's no accountability. When you try to do something and you don't do it, there's zero consequence. I only said I would try. I didn't say I would do it. You know, I'll try to connect you with somebody. I'm going to try to help you at your garage sale. And then you don't show up. They can't get mad at you. You didn't say I'll be there at 8 a.m. with fresh donuts, right? You said I'll try to help you. I'll try to be there. And then you don't show up. They can't even get mad at you because there's no accountability there. So that's another reason that we've just become conditioned to allowing for all of that, excuse, blame, zero accountability. It's very tidy. It's very easy. It just makes it like a luxurious, to me, it's a luxury at this point. If you're going to try, there's nothing worth trying. It's a luxury I can't afford, whether it's a tiny little thing or a big, big, big thing. Trying to me is just like, why bother, you know?
Yeah. Well, I love giving listeners one challenge for the week to do, not to try, to ground this into the reality. I have a feeling I know what yours is going to be, but let's get it clearly anyways. And this will be probably airing right around the new year. So it's also great for those people who use this time to feel invigorated about the next thing that they thought they were going to try, but now that they realize they're actually going to do.
Right? No more trying to meet your New Year's resolutions. Okay. So I wonder if this is the one that you think, actually, it's probably not. Here's my, I'm going to surprise you. It just popped into my brain. So this week, listeners, I want you to become hyper aware of every single time you say try. Every time you say it comes out of your mouth, oh my God, I said try, right? Just start noticing how often I'm going to try to find a parking place. I'm going to try to go make another cup of coffee. I'm going to try to call so-and-so back. I'm going to try to return some. We say it like 30 times before 10 o'clock in the morning. So notice how many times you say it, and also notice when other people say it to you as they're engaging in a conversation. Just make it be like, oh, you said try. Oh, you said try. Like really kind of make it a standout moment, even if it's just for yourself.
Punch yourself in the face just so you bring it home.
You put a little rubber band on your thing. Oh, they said try. Oh, they said try. You know, you will get very annoying if you start telling everybody. But become this week hyper aware of every time you say it and every time someone says it to you.
For listeners who are going to read your book, now try to read your book and connect with you, where's the best place to do that?
So, well, you can buy the book anywhere: Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Target. Just go online, and it's Stop Trying is the name of the book. My website is stop-trying.com, and if you sign up, you'll get a Try Baby test. You'll get the Eisenhower Matrix, which is really good for organizing our things that we need to do, urgent or not. And then you'll just be informed of anything that's going on. And go to my Instagram account, because I have so much fun with that. Every single day, 7 days a week, I have a hit on why trying doesn't help us and how it hurts us, and kind of fun, sometimes very silly examples of trying, which is just at Carla Ondrasik. And the book, by the way, is an amazing Christmas gift for your teenage kids, your partners, your girlfriends. It's just the most incredible gift you can give somebody, is to take away this really powerful little bad word.
Want to work through this week's Mind Love Challenge with others? The Mind Love Collective is a free community with monthly themed calls, weekly challenge accountability, and real support throughout the year. So join us at mindlove.com/join. Thanks for giving your mind a little love today, and I'll see you next week.